Thinking about dating women with children. Better yet, how about thinking about moving in with women with children? Well, think again, brothers. Think again. This is Yasha Ben Israel for the Yasha Ben Israel Israelite Thought Channel. Talk about things that people don't like to talk about and things that people don't want you to know, right? And today I want to talk about why you should not move in as a man with young women with children. Okay. You know, I want to just talk about a little story, a personal story that happened in my life. I want to tell you my personal experience. And then from there, I am going to just harp around the subject of things that I have seen. Basically, I'm just going to talk about my experiences and the experiences of others. Why I say that it is a bad, bad thing. Okay. And all of these are facts. Well, I remember once upon a time that I was dating this young lady, and I'll say, let's say her name is Renee, right? And when I was dating Renee, it's a lot to the story, but I'm just going to try to make it as succinct as possible. When I was dating Renee, I was probably about 27, and Renee probably was like 18. And at this time, I just wanted to date younger women. I had made up in my mind that I don't want no more old women. I'm going to date younger women. So I ended up meeting Renee through one of my cousins, right? Actually, through a group of my cousins. Renee was my cousin's best friend's baby's mother. And she and her, the friend, my cousin's best friend ended up passing away. So I ended up meeting Renee and we ended up kicking it, and I find out, that, she's a young lady about 9 years younger than me. And I've been praying, like, Lord, I want to start dating younger women. Lord, send me a young woman my way. And then she ended up coming. Be careful what you ask for, brothers. So I guess this young woman, she has a 2-year-old child, meaning that she had this baby at 16. I meet her. I think maybe the next day she comes over. We get intimate. Bam, real fast. The relationship get to moving real, real fast. So I got my own little crib, my own little pad, my own little car, my own little job. I'm doing my own little thing. At this time, actually, I was a rapper. So I was in the movie. I was doing movies and I was doing little rap albums and stuff, So I had it kind of like going on at this time in my life. So I ended up dating this young girl or whatnot. The relationship moves real fast, and I'm impressed with her. She's a young girl with a 2-year-old baby, which I kind of thought that was, at this time I didn't even think that was bad, because I didn't know no better. I didn't get red pill until I was damn near 40 years old. So I end up meeting this young lady, we kicking it, and she comes over quite often, quite frequently. I would say after about a year or so, I end up maybe even less, a little less than a year. I end up losing my job, and after about 3 months or so of being behind on rent, I end up losing my apartment. So now I go back and have to move with mom. She always was living with her mother. So being that she was, young, 18, she worked at Chrysler, so she already had a good job. She went out on her own and decided that, hey, I'm going to get us an apartment. So she went and got an apartment or whatnot. She wanted me to move in with her, and I told her I really didn't want to move in with you. I'll come in, I'll come over, you know what I'm saying? But I don't want to move in with you. So after about her staying there for a while and whatnot, and me being over there every day, you know what I'm saying? Eventually, I end up moving in with her. Boy, why did I do that? Now, mind you, that it's about a 9 year gap between me and Renee, and it's about a 9 year gap between me and Renee's mother. Now, when I get to meet Renee's mother and her family, I get to meet a real gynocracy. I experienced a real family where the women is dominant over all the men in the whole damn family. And that's the type of family that she had. The women ran everything. The men were yes men to the women, and that's just what it was. I mean, grandma was the queen of the family. She ran everybody's everything. The beautiful thing about it, that wasn't her business. She didn't care to do that. But the mother did, right? So me and the mother didn't like me. She didn't like me because I believe she felt that I should have been dating her more so than her daughter. Mind you, there's like a 9 year difference between both of us. So we gets to dating, we gets to moving. I get to moving in. We stay together maybe about 3 or 4 years. You know what I'm saying? We together for a nice little while. Mind you, I'm a vegetarian. I'm with Ben Ami's organization. I'm a vegetarian, and we don't eat no meat or dairy products, or meat products. So we were straight vegetarians. And so therefore, me after living years with this ready-made family, they adopted a lot of my ways. They began to stop eating pork, and they began to start eating more naturalistic, right? So, like, say for instance, for breakfast, instead of eating cereal and milk, we would have cereal and maybe like almond milk or rice milk or coconut milk or soy milk. You know, a lot of times soy milk was more available, so that would more so end up on our table. Now, soy milk has this thing to where, that if young girls was to drink it, and I didn't know this at the time, it would make their breasts grow. And it would make them come on their periods early and stuff like that. So one day Renee began to, into caring for her daughter, I guess, she noticed that the daughter at about 7 or 8 began to start spotting. You know what I'm saying? And she told her mother about it, and her mother immediately accused me of some type of sexual deviancy with this young child. Now, out of all the years me and this young lady has been living together, her and her child is so close that there was never, ever a moment with me with this child and her mother wasn't around. I'm saying, like, if the mother was to, like, go somewhere and be gone, she wouldn't have me there with the child. She would have to drop the child off with a mother or something. You know what I'm saying? And the child was always there with the mother. So I mean, they were so close that the mother would bring the child to her with the bath. I mean, when she got in the tub, when she got in the bathroom, she carried her child in there with her. You know what I mean? It was okay with me. I just looked at it as good. That's what they do. So there was measures taken, and I wouldn't even say it was measures taken. That's just how they were. They were just the little girl was close to her mother like that. She wanted to be at her mother's side like that. So there was never a point where I could have done any of this. And I asked her, when you told your mother this and your mother told you what she told you, I said, can you ever think of a time where you ever left me with this child? The mother, she told her mother this, and and her mother said, you don't know. You could have been asleep. And he get up out of bed out of your sleep and go in there and mess with your child. I told her I would never do this with no children. You know, I love your daughter. I adopt your daughter as my own. They pressed the issue. They pressed the issue so bad. And I'm calm because I know I ain't did nothing. Okay, well, we can go. I tell you what, if you think that, if you want to listen to your mother, gaslight you over what you know, right? All you gotta do is ask the child. Just ask her. Pull her to the side. Ask her, have that man never been messing with you or touching you or anything? They don't believe the child. They ask the child. Child say no. Okay. So this shit's starting to get crazy now because I'm getting scared. Because I know many men are in prison because somebody accused them of some type of sexual assault. Whether they did it or not. There are many men in jail that didn't do it. And now I'm scared that I'm about to be one. Because I know that this girl's mother don't like me. Since she can't get me for child molestation of her daughter, because her daughter's grown, she's going to try to slide that shit on me with her granddaughter, which is my girlfriend Renee's daughter. I said, I didn't do nothing like that, and there's no evidence that I've done anything like that. And I am willing to go to the doctor with you and this child. You get this child a checkup, tell them what you think, okay? You do what the fuck you do. And I guarantee you that I have not done anything, right? And once we go to this test, and I get it, you love your child more than you love this man, right? So you're going to go with what your mother say. And I tell you what, when this test come back that I have not done nothing to your child, I'm leaving you. It's over. Okay? So we goes down to the doctor or whatnot. He did. And the doctor was actually trying to coerce the child into saying that I was fondling her or messing with her in some type of way. Right? And this child that I love, that loved me, cried and cried. Why are y'all trying to make me say that he touched me? Yasha ain't never touched me. Yasha ain't never did this. Why is y'all doing this? That baby was the only thing that defended me. And that doctor said there was no evidence of her being tampered with or touched, but they were concerned about her spotting. And I told the doctor that based off of my research that I have come to learn, and I no longer drink soy milk, that soy milk is the cause of this. Okay? I got relieved. The doctor said that nobody touched this child. And me and Renee and the child went home. Eventually, I end up leaving Renee because of that. Okay? What's the lessons learned here? The lessons learned here is number one, don't measure your masculinity by how many women that you sleep with. Number two, never move in with a woman who have children. The reason why you don't move in with a woman that has children, in my experience, in this experience, is that this woman could never love her child more. I mean, never love you more than she loved her child. And when you find yourself in a relationship with a woman that have children, it's either one or two things going to happen. Either this woman is going to be a good girlfriend and a bad mother, or she's going to be a bad girlfriend and a good mother. Okay? And I'm just telling you that, right? That's the dynamics, brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? Because this child, no child, especially a man, a boy child, could ever be comfortable with a man coming in and out of his mother's room that is not that child's father. When you have a girlfriend that have children and you're not that child's father, there's always going to be a conflict for attention between the man and the child. Either because let's say if it was daddy, woman, and child, no child is going to get jealous because my mother is giving attention to my daddy. A child don't like their parents sharing attention to this new strange man. You know, they just don't like it. Okay. When I was growing up, I did not like my mother dating men, bringing men into my home. Okay. That man ain't my daddy. And then my daddy wasn't around. So if my daddy even spent the night over there, I may have even felt a little weird, you know, a little cringe because it's strange. You know, I'm used to me, kids, and mama here. And you got this stranger walking all through here and you want us to respect him and this, that, and all this crazy shit. So I didn't like the men that my mother dated. I just didn't, you know. My daughter has gotten married. And I told her that your children is like, what, 14, 15, stuff like that. I said, you should just wait till they get 18 and then get married because your children is not going to like your husband. She got married and her children don't like her husband. You know what I'm saying? See, you wait till your children get 18 and then you ain't got to appease your children. You can tell your children, you grown now, you can get out, right? Because her first obligation is to her children. See, when it comes to dating today, I would not date a woman with children seriously. I wouldn't take that relationship seriously. I would sleep with them, yeah. I would never sleep with them in their home, with their children in that home. If you want to be with me, you come over to my place, so we go get a little hotel room, or I am not, or you send your kids away for the weekend, right? Because I'm not going to be adding to the teaching of whoredom to your little daughters. I'm not going to be the one that is being used to say it's okay for your daughter to jump from man to man because she see mama doing it. You see? There's a whole lot going on with that scenario. You know, like I said, a lot of times the kids don't even like you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, for real. You know, I've been in relationships with women that had male sons that loved me. You know, most of the relationships I've been in with because I'm a good man, the children love me. But I have had some instances where things just the children didn't care for that man, which was me. You know, most of the cases, which in the case of the fake sexual assault charge allegation, that child was crazy about me. She knew me as her daddy, right? I was the dominant male figure in her life. And she wasn't going to let y'all lie. She wasn't going to let her grandmother lie. And that child, I wanted to let that child know that I'll forever love you for that because you saved my life. Okay? One day you'll hear this story. Okay? And you'll understand why me and your mother could never, never make it. All of the lies that this woman would tell on me. Because women in the gynocracy in her family taught her these tricks on how to manipulate a man. And I'm telling you, a real man ain't none of that shit gonna ever work. You know what I'm saying? So eventually, I end up leaving Renee, you know. So it was a lesson learned there, that was a lesson for me, and because of that, I'll never, ever, ever disrespect a woman's children by sleeping with that woman when her children is in that house. If you want to be grown lady, bring your ass over to my house. If you want to be grown, then grow up and don't parade this shit around your children. Renee ended up having other children by other men, and she kept parading men in and out of her house after I left. And Renee ended up having a bad relationship with men, so Renee ended up turning gay. And during the period of Renee's gay escapades, Renee was parading women in and out of her bedroom. And now Renee's second daughter is homosexual. Okay. I don't want to be a part of the sexual degradation because you're teaching these children how to live. Their brains are like sponges. I've seen cases where men have taken care of the child, put that child through college. You know what I'm saying? That child gets good, successful, and don't even thank the man that made it possible. That kid grows up and go seek out his natural father. You know what I'm saying? And all the things that you invested in this man's child, you get no reward for that. You're just getting used and played with. What I've learned in that scenario is that in the case, and I understand, not knowing about the soy milk and the things that soy milk does to the body, right? I would be alarmed too. I get that. That's the reason why I went down to the hospital. I get that. But you got to understand that I'm begging you and telling you that I did not do this. And I'm trying to get logical, like, when could this ever happened? At some point, you don't care about the truth. Okay? A woman cares about her children, and she will bury you over a fucking lie. You understand what I'm saying? I could have got buried over a fucking lie. I could have been doing 10 years in prison with a sexual assault charge and my name on the Otis list and the sexual offender list, fucking up my life forever. All because I decided to move in with a single mom. You know, I'm telling you, just a bad thing, you know, just a bad thing, you know, you know, it's just a bad thing. I encourage any man that is sleeping and messing around with women with children, don't parade that foolishness in front of this women's children. Respect yourself. Respect that woman. And she may not ever respect herself. Okay? Because been in relationships with women that had little babies. But they wasn't babies like that. They may have been 3 or 4 years old. And she'll have this baby right in the bed with you while she trying to have sex with you. Because she used to sleeping with her kids and won't tell her kids to get up and go or put her kids, the decency to put her kids in the fucking bed. You know what I'm saying? You know, I've seen that. I've experienced crazy shit like that. And the relationships don't go further because I lose respect for those type of women. These women, single moms, a lot of times will sleep in the bedroom with their sons and shit. So when you come around, they feel like, nigga, when the fuck is you in the bed with in my bed? You know what I'm saying? I'm just telling you, man. The shit is crazy, bro. And the women, like Shahrazad Ali said, you got to go way back with them, like in their mind. You got to treat them like you're talking to a 12, 13, or 14-year old. Because what's bent in their mind, that's all they see. They don't see none of the shit on the side and the dangers, that lurk in the darkness. They don't care about it. And if it happens, they'll use it against you because you're not doing what the fuck they want you to do. These women will put you out of their homes because they are the power of the house. They are the heads of their home. Even if you move in with her and pay half on the rent or even pay all the rent, she is the dominant in that house. Being that she's the dominant in that house and female's hypergamous nature, she will throw your ass out, brother. And when she throws you out, guess when the time usually be? It usually be in the wintertime. Yep. In the depths and the coldest of winter, she will throw your ass out because that's not your home. I advise men, if you want to live with women, you get your own house and you have her come live with you. Yeah. Have her come live with you. That's if you just have to live with a woman, right? Now, if she got children, I just advise you not take that relationship seriously until that woman is able to get those children out of her life. Why? Because it'll always be her, her children, and then you. You understand what I'm saying? Because if it was you first, then she would be looked at as a bad mom. See, I've had women that were the bad moms. I've had women that would feed me steaks and potatoes while they feeding their kids hot dogs and pork and beans, you know? And I said something about that because I feel that everybody should have steak and potatoes. Man, that woman cussed me the fuck out, right? Because I didn't feel like, I mean, if you can afford to take care of a man, don't do it at the expense of neglect of your children. Okay? So, I mean, I'm just telling you, man, never, never, never do it, fellas. Think again. Okay? Never move in a woman's home. Okay? Never move in with a woman, whether she have children or not. And if she have children, just don't do it. Okay. Never move in her home. Respect her home. Respect her family as a man. And if y'all just happen to have to be intimate, do it outside of her home. If you have to get intimate with a single parent, mom, you just have to do it. Then do it when she didn't send the kids away for the weekend or something, right? You should never, a mother should never parade men that are not her children's daddy in front of her children. She just shouldn't do it. Okay? When a woman brings a man around her children, it is at that point to where she been knowing that man for a while. She been dating that man a while. And things are so serious where it's just going to be what it is. And if you did it right like that, then 9 times out of 10, it would be much better for you, right? But nobody really, really, really appreciates, no young children really appreciates none of the men that mom bring around that's not their fucking father. You know, God didn't create us for that. God created it to go like this. Do you remember that old, what is it, the nursery rhyme? What did it say? Uh, stand and eat, stand and, what's a male and a female name? Ken and Stacy sitting in a tree. Kissing. First come love, then come marriage, right? Then come the baby and the baby carriage. That is the way that it's supposed to go. But today is Ken and Stacy sitting in a tree. They ain't even kissing. They just Fucking. There's no love involved. We never get married, but we producing babies in the baby carriage. Men, when you date these women, you must understand that they don't take no accountability. And you will be taking the accountability for every man that she has slept with, brother. That favorite sexual position that she liked, that doggy style. She liked it because she did it before. Okay? And she did it so much that she found that to be her favorite position. And if you can't hit her in her favorite position that she's so used to by other men, then she is not compatible with you sexually, brother. Now, if she was young, tender, and hadn't had many men, that wouldn't even be a fucking issue. You did. So you have to take on the accountability and the responsibility of every man that came before you. And if you marry this woman, you will be taking care of other men's children. Children that possibly don't even like your ass. You so horny, you so turned out to where you going with your feelings over realistic reality situations. The reality is that this shit is not designed to work. It's just not. Because the original formula is Ken and Stacy sitting in a tree. Kissing. Then come love. Then come marriage. Then come the baby and the baby carriage. And as long as we continue to be Ken and Stacy sitting in the tree, skip past the kissing and get out the tree and start Fucking. Bypass the love, bypass the marriage, go straight to the baby and the baby carriage. Somebody got to take care of that baby. And as long as that woman has a vagina that feels good, some man she's going to put in that position to help her with those babies, especially if she has an irresponsible father. You know, I always wondered why men leave women. You know, I was working with a guy, a white boy named Bert. You would think that, that you being black, that you had life all fucked up, but white people be having fucked up lives too. Bert told me how his dad left them when he was like 7 years old. He one day told his mother that I'm going to the store, and he never came back. You know what I'm saying? I laugh at it now. When I first heard those things, I would cry and I would be sad, like, man, how could a man do that? Well, I'm here to tell you that these women put men in a position where the manly thing to do is to leave this situation. That being stated, man, learn from these lessons, learn from these stories, never date a single woman. You know what I'm saying? Never move in, especially with one. You know, I could tell you a story of. I remember one year my brother was dating a lady, and he was same situation. When he first started dating her for like the first couple of years, she was living with him. She was real bossy and nasty acting. She didn't want his family coming around. She really didn't want people coming around. And that's when she was living with him. My brother loved his family. He was the type of guy that he would just open the door for his family. His family could come over, spend a week over there if they wanted to. He didn't give a fuck. He just loved his family like that. You know what I'm saying? He just always wanted to be around his family. He understands that he's a man and he has to do for self, but he just loved his family like that. He got family members that will come out of town. You know what I'm saying? From Ohio, just to come up here and be with them. So quite naturally, they coming from another state, they gonna need a place to stay. Oh, she got an attitude. He up here staying with us, la la la. So one year, my brother was, he decided that we're gonna get us a new apartment. I'm gonna move. He's gonna move out of this house that we're in, get another place. The day this brother moved, it was like around Christmas, like right before Christmas. I didn't want to do it, man, because it was one of them cold winters. And he asked me to help him move, and I helped him move. And he moved into a house that this girl went out and found. She went out and found the house. She put the down payment on it. You know what I'm saying? And he's fixing to move with her. I said, brother, don't do that. At this point in my life, I had learned better. I like, man, don't do that. Don't move in with her. You're going to regret it. You're going to regret it. This had to have been maybe about 3 years ago. It wasn't even that long ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. It wasn't even that long ago. I told him, man, don't move in with her. Don't do it. You're going to regret it. Right before Christmas, he moved in. New Year's Day, we was moving him out. She threw him out. She didn't last. He didn't last in her house. After she lived with him for years, when he moved in her house, he lasted less than a week in her house. There was a power struggle, a fight, or who's the boss of this motherfucker, you know, and she showed him who was the boss and put him out. You know what I'm saying? So now I got to come in. This is one of the coldest fucking New Year's days I've ever experienced. It was storming, and I have to go over and help this motherfucker move after I told him, don't move in with this woman. Now, this woman didn't even have no children. You know what I'm saying? She ain't had no children. Nope, sure didn't. She's selfish and mean. You know what I'm saying? And it's a power struggle. And like I said, when a woman is living with you, she knows she ain't paying no bills. She'll humble up, and she'll just live off of you for free. She'll humble up, but she ain't humbling up when you move up in her shit and the bills is in her name. You could pay all that shit. You could pay the rent. the light repay, all that shit. If that shit is in her name, she's going to exercise power over you, and she's going to show you who's the boss. She's going to make you kiss her ass. And if you don't do it, you're getting the fuck out. In fact, how about this? Hypergamy may kick in, and I've seen women find a guy that would just had it going on better than you. And she kick your ass out the fucking house. And next week, she got a whole new boyfriend living in her motherfucking crib. You know what I'm saying? You know, when a man raises his son, if he loves his son, he's going to tell his son, hey, it's time for you to get your own place, man. You know, look, man, we're going to make sure you got you a solid job. You've been living here with us. You've been working on your job for about a good year or two. You're solid at work. I'm going to help you with your first month's rent, and I'm going to help you get you a car so you can maintain and get back and forth to work. And I'm doing this because I don't want you to ever go move in a woman's house. And then I'm going to take him down through this experience that I just gave you all and to show you why you don't do that. If you like this woman so much, then you let her come and spend nights at your home. And if you like her that much, you let her move in with you. But don't ever, ever move in a woman's house. That is some simp ass shit. That's some weak ass shit. And you are less than a man for doing that. Because a real man is going to warn you. That being stated, this is Yasha Ben Israel. Peace, love, and happiness. Now we got Pilgrims in the Earth in the house. My man, Pilgrims in the Earth, we're going to do a show. I want you all to check him out. Go over to his channel, subscribe. I want you to come back in the near future. Me and Pilgrim and the Earth is going to do a show. And I want you to hear his story of how he became an Israelite, and how he evolved in his Israelite movement. And I'm proud of the brother. I just want you to, and it really, really, touched my heart, when the brother told me that I was an inspiration to him, because when he first got into the movement, we used to fight like cats and dogs. He was a part of those camps, you know what I'm saying? And the brother have learned, you know, and he took this Israelite thing by the horns, and he even did things. I've been in this stuff over 35 years, man. And this brother have done things that I have never done. He has traveled in the name of Yah. He actually moved to Africa and depend on Yah. He has his family over there. I didn't do that. I was going to go to move to Israel, but I didn't do it. This brother did it, you know, and I have to take my hat off to this brother. He knows some things and have some experiences that even I can't, you know, uh, say that I've done, and I'm proud of the brother, and more so I'm touched because somewhere, and all of that fighting and arguing that I did with the brother, somewhere the truth has come out. And when he learned the truth, this brother told me, when I learned the truth, the first thing I could think of, brother Yasha was right. You know what I'm saying? So hey, that's my brother. I only got like a few seconds left. My phone is about to die, probably at about 10 or 15%. StreamYard will drain the hell out of your battery. I am on my phone. I would normally have posted Pilgrims in the Earth comment, but you can't do that on the phone. I think that I can allow you to come in. I'm going to see if I can send you in, if I can invite you in. I'm gonna see if I can invite you in. Well, it's not letting me. I probably have to learn how to do it. Maybe when I get off the phone, I'm gonna figure out how to do it from my phone. It has this guest button, but it's not. Oh, I think what I may have to do is copy and paste it and then send it to you, which is a little too much, man. I'm about ready to just go and get on off of here. But me and Pilgrim of the Earth, I'm going to call you tomorrow, and we're not going to let this week go by without telling your blessed, dynamic, and amazing story. You know, and the beautiful thing about this brother is that he did things the right way. His relationship was that Ken and Stacy sitting in the tree, Kissing. Then came love, then came marriage, then came the baby and the baby carriage. His relationship wasn't that they sitting in the tree, they bypassed the kissing, start Fucking. They skipped the love, they skipped the marriage, and then they got babies and the baby carriage. He didn't do it like that. This man has a beautiful marriage. You know, he has children that he's raised in the name of Yah. You know, his children don't know Christianity. You know, his children has an advantage that me and him and no others have had. And to make sure that they are not perverted, he moves them up out of America and moves them in a place where they can learn about their culture and their heritage, man. You know, hey man, I pray, man, that the Lord, strengthen you, empower you. And hopefully, man, when I get up out of the situation that I'm in, man, that I can even come up over there, and check it out, because that's one of my dreams to go to Africa and to Israel. It's just that I'm over here taking care of my mom's now, and she needs me, so this is where I'm at. But, none of us lives forever, and in the event that something happened to her, I'm leaving the United States. So I got to keep that plug, man. I may be coming over there to Tanzania, you know, hey, in Tanzania, I ain't got to worry about dating women with children. There's so many different types of black women running around that place, boy. You got your choice for the pickings. Yes, sir. But I'm going to end the show. Hey, pilgrims in the earth, man, go back, check this stream out. You know what I'm saying? Like you say, this free game. Yes, I'm dropping that game and I'm putting it down. You know what I'm saying? You know, because I mean, it's a scripture. Before I leave, I want to touch on it. Everybody's trying to bash the Deuteronomy 28, but it fit us. Deuteronomy 28:30 says it talks about how a man would take a wife, you know, and he would build a house and a family, you know, you know, he would build a house, you know, for this family that he has in a vineyard. He would build this life, and another man will come in his house and sleep in his bed. Another man will come in his house and be going in his refrigerator. Another man will be coming in his house and eating from his vineyard. Another man will come in his house and raise his children. This is a part of the Deuteronomy 28 curse. And I'm glad that I thought of that before I ended the show. I think I'm going to end the show on that note. Yes, dating a single parent mom is a part of the curse of Deuteronomy 28:30. And I'm glad the Holy Spirit, Haruach HaKodesh, Yahuwah, implanted that in my spirit. And I'm going to leave on this note. Tomorrow morning, my time, I'm going to call you about maybe about 10 or 11 o'clock. So it don't be too early, too late your time. Maybe somewhere between 9 and 11, because I want my audience to really, really hear your story, man. Your story is a great, encouraging, and inspiring story. You know, that being that, shalom, shalom.